I've been waiting on water here for 68 years. No water yet. My children had to carry water from all the way down under the hill in buckets. They had to carry the wash water. And I washed on a board. You know what that means? A tub and a board. So it was rough, really rough. But I had children, they helped me.
Well, it was pretty rough. People had to haul water. And of course, a lot of them built water cisterns so they'd catch rainwater. And that's about the only way we had getting any water. We either hauled it or caught the rainwater.
We have people that a lot of them do not have bathrooms in their home. A lot of people don't have a kitchen sink in their home because they don't have water. And this is approaching the year 2000 and going outside using the bathroom. Everybody's desperate for it, whatever it takes.
With the mining that's been done, a lot of springs and wells have been depleted. Many wells now have no water at all, and those that do have water have high levels of iron and manganese. So the mineral content is such that it makes it not very good for drinking. It also is discolored, so it makes the washing of clothes a big problem.
Smith Ridge, Virginia. About 150 people, 60-some houses, and 4 churches lining a winding 7-mile road. By the fall of 1997, these mostly low-income people were desperate for a reliable supply of fresh water. So about 50 or 60 of them attended a meeting of the Tazewell County Public Service Authority and asked if anything could be done to help them. Funds for public water projects were scarce, they were told, and Smith Ridge was competing with larger communities which had priority. Gravely disappointed, the delegation from Smith Ridge returned home, but as it turned out, the timing of their request was perfect. The Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development at that time was looking for a community in which to launch a new initiative called Self-Help Virginia. It was to be based on the Small Towns Environment Program, or STEP, developed by the Rensselaerville Institute in New York. The idea behind STEP is that small communities can lower the cost of water and sewer projects by employing volunteer labor to install them. For over 20 years, the Institute has helped communities in 17 states undertake more than 300 STEP projects, working in partnership with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the Ford Foundation, and the state governments.
We came up to Smith Ridge and met with the folks in the church down the road here, and there was 40 or 50 people in there. We were amazed how many people were there with the size of the community here. Rob Hanna explained the program, and Jimmy Walsh asked if there's any spark plugs. Told him what a spark plug is. That's the person that's energized and is going to take responsibility for seeing the project through. And everybody in the room pointed at 2 guys. We knew right then we had our spark plugs.
The state estimated that the cost of laying 7 miles of pipeline, if it were contracted out in the usual way, would be $1,028,000. But based on what the Smith Ridge volunteers said they could do themselves, only $350,000 in community development block grant funds were budgeted for the project's completion.
We look for basically 2 things, readiness and capacity. Readiness means that they acknowledge that they have a problem, and the problem is significant enough that they'll go to extraordinary measures to alleviate it. Capacity is once we determine the readiness is there, that they have the people and the skill level necessary to pull it off. And there has to be a local person in the community called a spark plug who has the energy to get the community motivated and coordinated and schedule the work hours and work sessions. Once we meet all those thresholds and they can convince us they can do the project for at least 60% of what it would cost to do it conventionally, then we'll be at the point of being able to offer them a grant and get under construction.
Mike Taylor agreed to serve as the project's chief spark plug. Henry Stiltner was his backup. Technical assistance was provided by Rob Hanna, director of the Rensselaerville Institute's offices in Austin, Texas. A plan of action was developed by the volunteers. Heavy equipment, 2 operators, and a construction supervisor were provided by the Tazewell County Public Service Authority. And finally, on April 6, 1998, ground was broken for the first self-help project in the Commonwealth of Virginia. An average of 17 volunteers, men and women, worked 6 days a week digging trenches, shoveling gravel, laying pipe. Others flagged traffic, cooked, and served hot meals.
I'm over the flagmen that I get, the people that I get to flag. I have about 8 scheduled a day, 2-hour shifts, and that's 6 days a week. And we've been doing this ever since we started the project. And they've been good to come out, the community has, the people of the community has been good to come out and help us with it. Each time I called on them, they was always there.
A nearby grocery store and 2 fast food restaurants donated meals 3 days a week. On other days, volunteers provided them. And slowly but surely, the pipeline made its way up Smith Ridge. On their worst day, the volunteers laid only 131 feet of pipe. But on one remarkable day, they laid 2,440 feet, a national record for STEP projects. The Department of Housing and Community Development estimated that it would take from 6 to 9 months for an experienced private contractor to complete the project, so the volunteers of Smith Ridge were given an easy 24 months. They completed it in under 3. 7 miles of pipeline, including 1,111 feet of 6-inch pipe, 35,584 feet of 4-inch pipe, and 16,895 feet of 3/4-inch pipe. Total hours of volunteer labor, 3,652. Total cost, about $250,000, which represents a 75% savings.
Some of the things that we did and run interference for them on was procurement of materials, the engineering, permits, things that they weren't used to doing. But as far as the construction, we showed them a little bit about how to lay water line, and along with a few people from the Public Service Authority, they have now laid 29,000 feet of pipe. And I would match their quality with anybody.
Near the end of August, Governor James Gilmore came to Smith Ridge to help dedicate the pipeline and pay his respects to the dedicated, self-reliant men and women who built it.
There's one thing I come away from this with as governor of Virginia is the excitement of seeing a community come together and have this kind of pride in the success and hard work that would cause you to do such great and material work. The spirit of this community is something you can just about reach out and touch. I want you to know that maybe at the end of the day, that is the greatest accomplishment and an inspiration to everybody across the Commonwealth. As Governor of Virginia, I congratulate you, I thank you, and I'm proud that you allowed me to be a part of this today. Thank you very much.
Smith Ridge is proof that this will work in Virginia. If someone thinks they want to pursue a self-help project in Virginia, they need to contact the Center on Rural Development in Richmond and let them know that they're interested, and we will start the process of trying to determine if we think their community can pull this off.